The update to WorldBox a few months back added an insane 26 brand new humanoid species to the game, which have been just absolutely awesome. And naturally, since these species have been added, I have put these guys to the test against a number of different things. I've made a video where they fought Crabzilla, and even a video where they had to fight each other all at the same time. But today, we're going to be hosting a grand tournament of not just the new species, but also the old ones and a couple of the other species too, where we will hold a single elimination tournament of every single species fighting only one other species at a time, all the way until there is just one left. So let me go ahead and show you the bracket. As you can see here, this is an official tournament style bracket, including 32 of the different species in the game. And the best part about this bracket, I actually tried to make the seeds kind of accurate, meaning that the 1 seed here is, in my opinion, the best current species in WorldBox, while number 32 is the worst species. But these rankings aren't official. Obviously, if they were, then that means the higher seed would always win. But that isn't necessarily the case here, as I made this in like 5 minutes, dude. So I'm expecting a lot of upsets here. But if you want to look, here are the 32 species that are participating and what rank I think they are. And we have a lot of fights to get through here. In total, there's going to be 31 unique fights in this, which is absolutely going to be insane. So let's go ahead and get started with round 1. And by the way, I recorded this video like literally right before the new 0.51 update came out, so that's why the 2 new humanoid species are going to be here. A lot of these fights should be pretty one-sided. We're going to start off with the rank 1 versus rank 32 Armorok versus Herders. And here are 1,000 of our species placed. On the left, 1,000 Rhino Armoroks and 1,000 Herders, which are the goat species. And just so everyone knows for future reference, all species placed on the left will be given the Golden Egg Desire, which grants 50% damage, and all species on the right will be given the Alien Mold Desire, which grants plus 30 critical and 10% armor. I found that these two traits are pretty much equal, but this is the only way that these guys will actually attack and kill each other without killing their own teammates. So without further ado, let's get this first fight going with an unpause. And some people decide to run away, but most of the rhinos decide to run in. A lot of the herders are staying here. You can see so much fire and such. It always seems to me that the pyromaniac trait, which causes these fires, is very common. But if you can see, it looks like the rhinos are absolutely overwhelming the herders. And they're already all gone. The rhinos didn't even lose half of their species. So unsurprisingly, we are going to give the Armoroks as the winner. And as you can see, they have moved on to the second round, which means it's time for game 2. The low claw hyenas versus one of the original species, the dwarves. So we have 1,000 hyenas on the left and 1,000 dwarves on the right. If you look at the rankings here, I put these guys as nearly identical, so I have no clue who's going to win here, so let's just unpause and see. It always seems like maybe the 400 or 500 nearest to the front go into fight, but the rest of them are really too far away. They kind of just sit in the back here, and the hyenas do appear to be winning if we look at the species numbers. Let's speed up time a bit, and the hyenas are now outnumbering the dwarves nearly 3 to 1 as they begin wrapping it up against them. And the dwarves, one of the original 4 species in the game, gets first rounded. The low claws move on. However, they're gonna have to face the Armoroks. And next up, we have the Lemonmen rank 9 versus the Coolbeak Penguins rank 24. So we have the Lemonmen here on the left and my penguin brethren here on the right. Please, guys, do it for your country. Pull off the massive upset here. And let's click on pause. I see some of my penguin brothers are throwing Molotovs into the crowd. Good for them. Hey, at least for my opinion, it looks like all of the penguins are charging in, while a lot of the lemons are staying back here. And the penguins are low-key making like a spearhead, and they're just charging in. They defeat the first line of lemons. However, there's a lot more. I'm not quite sure if they're going to be able to hold all of them off. Oh no, they're crumbling. And there are 200 lemons to just 30 penguins, and oh god, it's about to be a massacre. And they're gone. Well, I'm not going to lie, the penguins put up a better fight than I expected, but they just weren't able to overcome the power of the Lemonmen, who are the winners, and will move on. And they are going to play the winner of the Garlic Men rank 25 versus the Napkins rank 8. So we have 1,000 Garlic Men here on the left. They are ranked 25 versus the rank 8 Napkins, which are the piranha species. So let's go ahead and see how this one turns out. I only ranked the Garlic Men so low because I actually forgot about them and added them super late. So they could be super powerful, and I have no clue, as they are absolutely breaking the lines. You can see their little green stems mixing with the pink piranhas. I have no clue who's gonna win here. The species indicates that the piranhas are actually winning, but not by much. They only have about 20 more than the garlic men do. But let's see how they can finish this one out. And the garlic men have actually taken the lead now as they've been able to pick off the piranhas relatively quickly. And this is going to be the first major upset as the garlic men, who were down in the beginning by quite a few people, are going to end up winning. So the garlic men are going to face their food brethren, the lemon men, in the second round. Now it's time to see the rank 5 Scorps versus the rank 28 Slipaws. So we have the rank 28 Slipaws, the foxes here on the left, and the rank 5 Scorpions here on the right. Let's see what they can do. The foxes seem to be organizing themselves. Oh god, here come the scorpions. Scorpions are ranked high for a reason. They're poisonous, they're venomous, they're just a really good overall species. And they absolutely tore through those foxes, the rest of whom are sleeping. Guys, wake up, you're all getting massacred. Oh my god. This is an absolute massacre, and that's just tragic. And one of the biggest blowouts we've seen yet, the scorpions still have 400 people while the foxes are destroyed, meaning that the scorpions will obviously move on to the next round. But next up, we should have another good matchup with the almodars facing up against the crablins. So here we have the rank 12 crabs on the left and the rank 21 almodars, who are the armadillos, I believe, on the right. As we begin, I think the crabs are pretty good, but holy crap, here come the molotovs. They are going to absolutely tear through the crab line here. As long as the almodars stay in the back, I think the crabs are pretty good. If you look at them, they have really strong armor for, you know, pretty obvious reasons, and they do a decent amount of damage too. And there's so many molotovs here. They're just absolutely burning the crabs. I'm actually kind of getting hungry now. But will it be enough? I'm not sure. I think the molotovs might actually be hurting the armadillos more than it's helping, as they are losing people rapidly while the crabs are barely being affected at all. Despite a good strategy, the crabs are just too overwhelming. And the last armadillo is destroyed, meaning that the crablins are your winner. I've actually been pretty accurate so far, except for the times where I wasn't accurate. Next up, we will have the rank 13 turtles versus the rank 20 cats. So we have turtles on the left here, cats on the right. Let's see what they can do. Oh yeah, I forgot how slow turtles are, and in comparison, cats are actually really fast. This might make fire a lot worse, because like I said, the pyromaniac trait is abundant in this game for some reason. Every creature just seems to love arson. So literally every turtle that steps in fires, because of how slow they are, it's just like a burning death trap for them. While the turtles are actually stronger, there's literally just cats here sitting, throwing molotovs into the crowd as their numbers begin plummeting. They can't even get over the starting line. And as we speed up time here so we can actually see the turtles move in real time, they're just getting absolutely cooked, while most of the cats didn't have to do anything at all. And as they finally get wiped out, only around 600 cats died. That was an absolute upset blowout. And the rank 20 Meowmorph cats are moving on. But next up, we should have another one-sided matchup with the rank 4 Buffalo versus the rank 29 Pecklord chickens. And with the Buffalo on the left and the chickens on the right, I just want to see how bad of a massacre this is going to be. The Buffalo charge in, the chickens are using a bunch of molotovs. But yeah, it's not like it really matters because the Buffalo are fast and strong, so they can just run in and take out the chickens. And honestly, the chickens are putting themselves on fire, which is probably just making themselves look more appetizing for the buffalo. But you know, now that I think about it, buffalo actually, I believe, are herbivores, so they really shouldn't even be that deadly, but they are. In a lot closer of a matchup than I thought it would be, the buffalo are going to win as the chickens are just too weak, and as they are destroyed, the buffalo lost almost 900 people, which is kind of worrying. But they were able to escape this time, and they will win. And next up should be another one-sided matchup, the rank 3 Granth Bears versus the rank 30 Hoppers, which are rabbits. So with the bears on the right and the rabbits on the left, let's just see how this turns out. By the way, I've disabled the Pyromaniac trait, because even though it doesn't really matter here in the first round, I feel like in later rounds that could really affect stuff. And holy crap, the bears are just making a line here. They've lost barely 50, and every single rabbit that enters their path just gets flattened. This is like a real-life like military tactic they're doing here, and now they're just gonna kill all of the innocents here in the back who tried to stay out of it. And there they go. Holy crap. It may have just been because of the fire, which we will continue keeping up, but less than 70 bears total died in that fight. They're ranked 3 for a reason, and they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. So I feel bad for whoever's going to have to play them in the second round, which is going to be the winner of the Bark Folk Dogs versus the Classic Humans. This fight should be pretty even as both of these guys are similarly seated. But let's just see what happens here. So we unpause. The wolves are actually like really fast and they charge into the humans, but the humans should be stronger. Let's see what happens here though. So we speed up times. It looks like the humans do have the slight advantage here as they are slowly pushing into the dogs. They're just a bit stronger, but they're nearly doubling their numbers now as they're just wrapping it up here. And the dogs fought well, killing almost 600 humans, but obviously not nearly enough, as humans will move on, but unfortunately they're gonna have to fight the Grant Bears. And next up, we have the rank 11 Hallier Wolves versus the rank 22 Nibblings, which are the rats. So we have rats versus wolves here. Let's see what happens. Wolves are pretty highly ranked because I know that they're a very strong species. If anything, they're actually probably ranked a little bit low at 11, as they are, yeah, tearing through the rats here. But I can't tell if that's because of how good the wolves are or just how bad the rats are. But that fight was very quickly. I don't even think I had to skip anything at all there. The Hallier Wolves easily win. But they're going to have to play the winner of the next game, the rank 27 Mutar Cows versus the rank 6 Reptiloids. So here are the cows versus the crocs. You know, the cows are ranked really low, but I think they have something that they can prove here, maybe. As they're actually doing a decent amount of damage into the Crocs lines, but yeah, not nearly enough. As they're pretty organized in their fights, but they're just throwing themselves into the internal meat grinder here, turning themselves into hamburgers and beef. And they actually did put up a really good fight, but the Reptiloids are ranked high for a reason. And as they pick off the remaining cows, the Reptiloids are your winner here. And we just have a couple of battles left here in round 1. Don't worry, the other rounds speed up quickly because obviously they're less fights and they'll be more interesting as we'll have creatures that don't, you know, freaking suck fighting. So we'll have the rank 7 Snox, the snakes, fighting the rank 26 Bakins, which are the sheep. Sheep versus snakes, I don't expect this will be close, but why don't we find out? Just like the scorpions, the snakes are very poisonous, do a lot of damage, but they don't really have any armor. It's not like it's gonna matter here as they're just absolutely, and that was one of the quickest fights yet. They lost less than 200 people as well. The snakes will be moving on, and the snakes will have to face the winner of the next round, which are gonna be the rank 23 Charmakas, the llamas or alpacas or whatever you call it, versus the rank 10 orcs. The orcs are probably the only original species that have a chance of making it far in this tournament or even winning it. But let's see what they can do here against the llamas, as they're getting themselves into a pretty smart formation here, but a lot of them are kind of just staying back, which is going to hurt them, while the llamas are very organized charging in. But overall, the orcs are a better species just fighting it health-wise, so they're able to take these hits, but it's pretty close. The llamas actually have more people at the moment, and a lot of the orcs are sleeping. Oh, this could be bad. It's still neck and neck. Can the orcs recover from this blunder? Oh, and they wipe out the llamas last second, killing hundreds of them in just a matter of seconds. And the orcs have waken up now. And that was potentially a huge upset. The llamas almost had it, but the orcs sneak by. They will be moving on and fighting the snakes in round 2. But now we have the elves versus the monkeys, which is supposedly supposed to be a pretty even matchup based on my seeding here. And as we begin here, the monkeys, oh my god, they begin demolishing the elves. Some of them begin running away. Oh no, they're just chasing after this one. Every time the elves die, they turn into a tree. So it's just like a plant graveyard over here. But the elves, who I ranked, 15th, I ranked them in the top half of all the species here. They're getting destroyed by a bunch of apes. The monkeys aren't even going to lose 200. This is one of the biggest blowouts we've seen. But now we have the last matchup of round 1, the rank 31 Chilbaras versus the rank 2 Dunglords. And you're probably wondering why I have the Dunglords ranked so high, and you're about to see here in a second. Also, it's pretty cool how their name is like a reference to Hollow Knight. But anyway, let me just show you why they're going to be so highly ranked up here. That's why. They are the only species who have the ability to literally just rain hell with, well, dung on their enemy, which is genuinely going to make it impossible for a lot of these guys to even get close. But if they push in waves like they're doing right here, they can get in and attack the Dunglords, who are weak once they begin attacking. But the Chilbaras also do suck as a species too, and they're throwing so much dung it's starting to break my game, and I think my game might have just crashed. But although my game is super laggy, just take a look at what the Dunglords are doing to anyone who steps steps in their way. They've won here. I don't want my computer to explode. So with that said, the final matchup of round 1 obviously goes to them, and honestly, they're going to be pretty dang hard to stop. But with that, that is the conclusion of round 1. Here are all the round 2 matchups you are going to see, and instead of 16 fights on the left here, we're only going to have 8 fights in this round total. So let's go ahead and move on to that.
Let's get ready to rumble!
So starting off round 2, we have the rank 1 Armorox against the rank 17 Lowclaws. Once again, even though round 2 should be better in terms of fights, this one really isn't going to be close, I feel. And by the way, if you guys are wondering how I'm getting rid of the Pyromaniac trait every time I use it, it's because when you go into any of the reigns, if you click on this button right here in the top right, it actually removes traits instead of giving it to them. So this is completely base game. But anyway, we have the Rhinos versus the Hyenas. Shout out to them for even making it here, but yeah, the Rhinos jump out to an early start, and they've barely lost anybody yet. And holy crap. P.S. The Hyenas won a game. The Rhinos didn't even lose 35 people, and they are the winner going on to the 3rd round, the Elite 8. But the next victim of the Armorox is going to be the winner of the Lemon Men versus the Garlic Men, which should actually be a pretty good fight. So here we have the battle of which item hurts the worst when it gets in your eyes. You know, pretty bad on both ends. But let's see what they can do to each other. I think the Lemon Men will win. They're the higher seed, and yeah, they're absolutely charging into the Garlic, but the Garlic are repelling them. Holy crap, the Garlic are winning. I thought it wasn't going to be close. The Garlic have organized into a cohesive unit, and they are beginning to absolutely charge and kill the Lemons. I didn't think this was even possible. They didn't even lose that many. And the Lemons are dead, and the Garlic barely lost over 500. What an upset. And this rank 25 team, which means I thought it was one of the worst, are going to go on to the Elite 8, but have to play the Armorox. That would be an insane upset. But anyway, that means we're going to move on to the Scorps versus the Crablins next. So we have Scorpions versus Crabs. Let's see who can come out on top here. I feel like the Scorpions with their armor, their venom, and their damage overall should make this pretty easy, but remember, Crabs also have a very high amount of armor too. So like honestly, these two species are very closely related to one another, and it's anyone's game here, but I think the poison is going to give the Scorpions the edge, which it looks like, as this fight here in the middle is just going absolutely ham. I can't tell, the Scorpions are falling behind. They were out ahead, but the Crabs were able to hold their ground, and the Crabs are beginning to push in. They are ranked 12, but the Scorpions were ranked 5, as I thought they were going to be way more powerful, but all things considered, that was relatively easy. The Crabs will be moving on. In kind of a shocking event, the Crabs upset the Scorpions and will be moving on to the 3rd round. And they will play the winner of the Cats versus the Buffalo. You know, I'm starting to realize that these are the kinds of videos that people would like genuinely bet on in real life. But either way, we have the rank 4 Buffalo versus the rank 20 Cats. I expect the Buffalo to win, but who honestly knows? Starting out, it actually looks pretty even. Cats are fast, but from what I know, they don't really do much damage, but they're outnumbering the Buffalo here. They're not ranked high at all. There's no way they're going to beat them. Buffalo are ranked 4, and the Cats are just destroying them. Holy cow. And another huge upset back to back as the Cats also relatively easily take down the Buffalo. I was not expecting that. The Meowmorphs are the winner, meaning that they'll fight the Crablins. This round is going to be insane. Now it's time for one of the matches that I'm really looking forward to. The Gramps versus the Humans. Bears versus humans. Who will win? Let's find out. Bears look very organized as humans are beginning to form a spearhead to charge into the bears. But the bears, they're really powerful. Just look at the amount of health they have and the damage they do as well. They absolutely obliterate the human line as the rest of the humans begin running away. But despite what I thought was possible, there are not going to be 3 upsets in a row as the humans get absolutely destroyed. This fight wasn't even close. The Bears barely lost 100 people, and that is it. They have won, and they're moving on to the 3rd round, and they'll play the winner of the Halliers versus the Reptiloids. In my opinion, both of these creatures are pretty evenly matched. So we're going to see what they can do. As the Howlers, the wolves are really powerful, but so are the crocodiles. The crocodiles are ranked a bit higher, but they're getting torn to shreds here as the canines are just ripping through them, literally. Although now they're beginning to hold their ground, the crocodiles were able to hold off the first attack, but there's still around 400 canines left. The population numbers are literally almost even at this point as the crocodiles begin pushing in. They're kind of picking off the wolves one by one here, which is making it pretty easy for them to win as they're moving in kind of a bow shape towards the enemy, while the canines are just kind of running willy-nilly into the fight. The canines now have the upper hand. It's switched back and forth multiple times, and the last bastions of crocodiles are falling. That was probably the closest fight we've seen yet. That will be another upset, and they will be playing the Grants in the third round. But now time for the last two fights of round 2, starting with the Snox versus the Orcs. And I'm personally cheering for the Orcs right here. Go ahead and comment down below who you want or wanted to win if they're already eliminated. But obviously at first I was probably cheering for the Penguins, but now I'm definitely going with the Orcs. That reason being is they're the only OG species still in the game here, but support of them may be short-lived. As now the Orcs are actually charging in all at once and they're beginning to outnumber the Snakes. They're absolutely destroying them. They were dying at first because most of their people were kind of staying in the back, but now they have the upper hand. But there's still a lot of like reserve snakes over here. But if they're all gonna sleep, then the Orcs can just pick them off. Oh no, this is a massacre. Oh, this is bad. The snakes aren't even fighting back. Wow. That wasn't really an upset. As you can see, they were pretty closely ranked, but the snakes they didn't even do that well. The Orcs ended up winning by quite a large margin, but we're gonna finish out round 2 here with the rank 18 monkeys versus the rank 2 dunglords. The monkeys are not ranked very high at all, but I really hope that this isn't going to break my game. As here comes the crap, literally. The monkeys can't even get a single hit, and it's just a constant wave of dung constantly flowing against them. At least my game's not lagging as much here, as literally they don't stand a chance at all. Honestly, the dunglords maybe should be rank 1. To give the monkeys even a slight chance, I'm going to place all of them right here. You may say this is cheating, but honestly, I don't think it's going to matter. I just want to see if they can even kill a couple of them. And no, that ended terribly. After placing 400 monkeys right here in the middle, right next to everyone, only 5 died. And there are just 2 monkeys left, but it doesn't take long for them to be found. The dunglords win. That is going to be scary. I don't know if anyone will be able to ever take them down. But with that ends round 2. Here's everyone participating for round 3. There's only going to be 4 fights here. This is the Elite 8. Just 8 species left. So let's get right into it. And starting off with our first fight is probably going to be one of the last one-sided fights. The Armorox versus the rank 25 Garlicmen. This fight could actually be closer than you think, maybe, because the Garlicmen, did make it to the third round for a reason, but I can't quite remember what reason that is, as they have been shredded to pieces. Oh my god, that was terrible. The Rhinos, the Armorox lost 9 people in total. Garlic fans are going to be absolutely writhing in pain over that one for centuries to come, as the Armorox easily head to the final 4, and they will have to play the winner of the Crablins versus the Meowmorphs, the 2 underdog winners. And as they have been placed down, I didn't expect either of these guys to get really far in this competition. They were both kind of middly ranked, but as the fighting continues, it looks like the crabs are just spearheading in a very organized fashion, and they are destroying the cats. And they continue to impress, as I thought they were done for in the second round against the Scorps. But they honestly are breezing through the cats right now. But as they finish up with the cats here, they only lost about 200 people exactly. And as they head into the final 4, I think they actually have a very good shot at making the championship. But now we have to determine what the next final 4 is going to be, starting off with the Grants versus the Howlers. And if we look on the bottom tab right here, these guys are actually right next to each other on here. But now they're right next to each other on the battlefield. Who will come out on top? And it's surprisingly even here, but the Bears look like they're coming out on top. They have about 150 more people at the moment, and they're pretty organized, but just like last round, the canines are just running in and trying to encircle the Bears. That seems to be what their strategy is, but it's just not working here, as the Bears are a lot stronger. And as a few are still sleeping and waking up in reserve to try and fight them off. Fight will be close, but that is it. After losing around 700 people, the Grants have just punched their ticket to the final 4, and they will play the winner of the Orcs versus the Dunglords. And as much as I want the orcs to win, I think we can all kind of tell where this one's going. But nonetheless, let's click unpause and see if the orcs can't prove what they're made of, as they are getting absolutely rained hell on. But they're a lot stronger, and they're starting to infiltrate the Dunk Lords, who are really just not moving. They're starting to kill some of them. Holy crap, maybe the Dunk Lords aren't immortal. As some of the orcs begin pushing in, it really actually seems like they're actually... No, they got him. That is probably the biggest upset of the video. I'm in absolute shock as they move on to the final four. And here's what your final four bracket looks like. You have the rank 1 Armorox versus the rank 12 Crablins, and then the rank 3 Grants versus the rank 10 Orcs. But I guess let's just get right into the final four. And this first fight of the crabs versus the rhinos is going to be absolutely sick. The crabs have not disappointed yet, but neither have the Armorox, as they just charge in the battle immediately. But they don't have nearly as much armor, as they're not tearing through the crabs nearly as quick. But now they are, and the rhinos still have only lost a couple. These guys might be unstoppable, as they might lose maybe 100, but they're just charging through and destroying any crabs in their way. And for a final four game, that wasn't even close. The Armorox take it with ease and have secured a spot in the championship. But now we need to see who's going to win between the Grants, the Bears, and the rank 10 Orcs. And the Grants have shown nothing but strength and determination all of these rounds. But the Orcs, with their massive upset last round, they have to have some momentum behind them. But as everyone wakes up, the Orcs are on the faster side. They begin this classic arrow shape, but just run into a wall of bears that they cannot defeat. But luckily now they're all charging in at once. This is what they kind of need to win. They need to be united. I don't even think they can defeat this wall of bears right here. And the Orcs, despite their increased strength, they're no match for the bears at all. As for, once again, this is another Final Four fight that's completely lopsided. The Grants, the Bears, easily win. So they have punched their ticket at the championship as well, meaning it is now the Armorox, rank 1, the creature that I thought was the best, and so far have been right, versus the Grants, who I thought was the third best. So according to my rankings, they should have been eliminated last rounds, but they've actually beat the odds. And it's time for the final WorldBox Species Championship. And here they are. You might have actually noticed that I gave each species their corresponding biomes. I gave the Armorock rhinos the rockland biome, and the bears their own maple biome. Although now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think rhinos live in rocklands, but it's too late to change it now. We already spent the budget on this. But anyway, right before we do the final fight, if you made it all the way this far in the video, clearly I've done something right in entertaining you. Go ahead and like and subscribe, but let's get right into it. Slow down speed as time flows. Both sides flow in, both of them making a spearhead, but it seems in this case the rhinos are coming out on top, although a lot of the rhinos are kind of running away, it seems, allowing the bears to encircle them and take a lot of them out. But the rhinos are kind of still overwhelming them. It's actually kind of close though, as a lot of rhinos are falling, but the bears are still pretty weak. Another spearhead of rhinos is flying in, still a lot of them laying behind. The bears are barely holding them off, getting weakened with every single blow. The rhinos have not taken this much damage before, but the bears are absolutely defenseless at this point. With just 20 left, they have no chance. And with nearly 600 rhinos killed, bears are eliminated, meaning that the rhinos, the Armorox, are the best species undoubtedly in WorldBox. And we will punch their final ticket right here, meaning that the Armorox have won. This video was a lot of fun. I really actually enjoyed making this one. But anyway, that'll be it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Farewell.